Welcome to the weekly Q&A with Dr. Gray. During this show, Dr. Gray will take questions from the audience and answer them for you. Please share this out with all of your friends and family across all social media platforms. And now, let's welcome Dr. Gray.
Hey, welcome everybody. And today we're going to talk about you're never upset for the reason you think. And that's because there's so many reasons why you get upset, and all of them, to a great extent, are wrong. And when you can recognize that the reasons you're giving yourself to be upset are wrong, then your brain will let go of those reasons. You'll think differently. I've been there, you've been there, where we get stuck. We get stuck feeling like I'm so mad at that person, or I can't succeed, I'll never be a success. He doesn't love me, she doesn't love me. I can't get what I need. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve. They don't deserve. All these kind of beliefs, they're all beliefs that we have. And they're all lies. They're all lies, or they may be true, but they're not a good reason to be upset. Okay, so you're never upset for the reason you think. If you're upset, you need to look at why am I upset, and why does that upset me, and why does that upset me? So we're going to explore all this today in great detail with some practical solutions, so that when you're upset, and upset is kind of like a way of expressing how we feel without even knowing what our emotions are. And the more common word we use for upset is stressed. If you're upset, maybe you're angry about someone, and sometimes somebody says, "Oh, you're just angry." I'm not angry. We deny that we're upset is basically what I'm saying. Somebody could be bothered about something, and what's going on? What's bothering you? It's nothing. And the irony here is that most of the time when a man says it's nothing, what it means is don't ask me more questions. And when a woman says it's nothing, she needs to process it generally out loud. But the problem is that if a woman is upset or stressed, which is our common word we use so nobody feels like something's wrong with me, because we know we're all stressed. Life is stress. We can have all these stress hormones being produced. And we have all these emotional issues, health issues, problems in our life. That's all stress. And it's a nice word because then people don't have to acknowledge really what's causing it inside and be that vulnerable. Hey, thanks for coming in, Barbara from Long Island. Everybody coming in. It's really nice to see you here. And Kayla, good to see you from Washington. Kayla's always good at bringing out a few main points, the aha points of today. And of course, the aha point for today is the recognition that you're causing your own misery if you're miserable. It's always the other person's fault if you're miserable. Or if it's only your fault, you're feeling miserable. And neither are ever true. It's never always somebody else that's causing you to be miserable. And it's never just I'm a bad person and that's why I'm miserable. There's a whole lot of reasons. And when we start looking at all the reasons, the brain can sort it out. The brain can make sense of it. But we have to bring it out of the unconscious, out of the subconscious, in order to shine a light on it. And because the reasons, any reason that you have to a great extent, at least your psychological reasons, are wrong. And when your brain can realize that they're wrong, then your brain relaxes. Because when you're producing negative emotions or negative feelings or unhappiness, discontent, dissatisfaction, judgmentalness, criticism, complaining, whining, feeling terrified, whatever, it's all an illusion. And your brain, when it sees that it's an illusion, and it's so easy to do once you start learning how to look inside and identify what your emotions are. You identify an emotion because emotions are real. Okay, that's the only thing that's real when it comes to you being upset, is that there's emotions inside. They're biologically produced. They're produced by a hormone called cortisol, and for women it's produced by adrenaline and cortisol. That's what. Hey, thanks so much, Therese, for coming in from Palo Verdes, California. Always happy to have everybody come in. And today there's going to be some room for questions as well. But I always like to start with a topic in case you want to ask questions about that topic. And then we can also take any kind of questions because you're listening to my shows on Thursday, at Facebook and also online here at the various places you're watching this, and also on Tuesdays. And I try to create more focus on oh, we got already a question came up. What nutritional products do you recommend if you're upset, I presume? And we'll get to that. It's one of the reasons we get upset and that we need to be realized. I used to have terrible anxiety. Now, terrible anxiety. I have no anxiety. I had never have anxiety. I was fear of public speaking. When I was 19 years old, I was so anxious, I fainted before an audience. My first talk, I became a teacher of transcendental meditation, and I memorized my speech. I stood in front of an audience and I fainted. Everybody thought I died, and the topic was develop your full mental potential through meditation. I will say 50 years later that I have developed my full mental potential. There's no question, and every day I get to develop it even more. But I'm using full guns in my life, and then I get to express as I express and use my potential, then I get more. Okay, so that's the dynamic. But the big step is, when you're feeling anxious or depressed or procrastinating, you're not expressing your potential. And meditation can be one way, one of the solutions that can help. But I tell you, I meditated for years, and that anxiety did not go away until I began to understand the real reason for it. And not that meditation wasn't a good thing. I do it every day. I did it this morning. I love it. It helps me so much. It increases my creativity. It opens myself to receiving more, what I'll call divine energy and infinite intelligence, a little bit more. When I say infinite intelligence, it means that it never ends. I get to be more and more intelligent every day, okay, as opposed to no longer having more intelligence, but becoming less intelligent. So that's the process of growth. I know in the East they talk about infinite consciousness, infinite creativity, whatever. It doesn't mean you know everything. It means that you can know a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Hey, Ava, thanks for joining us here from the Netherlands. It's evening there. So here we are wanting to develop our full mental potential. What blocks us from that is not understanding why we're upset. Now, when I had all that anxiety, there was nothing dangerous, right? There's no danger. I'm just standing in front of a booth, 25 people or something like that. So what if they don't like what I have to say? So what if I make a mistake? Kaylor says, I think the biggest aha for me ever, that each of us is responsible for our own feelings. Nobody else is causing us to feel that way. This is so huge. But see, what's the tricky part of this is somebody can say something. Thank you, Kaylor. Somebody can say something. It triggers these feelings inside of us. But what comes out of us is what's in us. You're responsible for what's in you. And what's in you it's there. It's there for a long time, and it comes out. And it comes out for your brain to become aware of it. And when your brain becomes aware of it, that's good. Thank you. I got the point. When your brain becomes aware of it, your brain can process it. Error. That's an error. Error in your thinking. Error in your thinking. Readjust. If your thought and your story you're telling yourself doesn't make you feel good, then it's a lie. The story you're telling yourself. Now, parts of the story could be true. Yes, you said that, and then I reacted this way. That's part of the story. But my reaction is determined by what's inside of me. And therefore, it's not you, it's me. It's called being triggered. Now, let's take a simple example of that, of you're not upset for the reason you think. Say you come home and you're a woman and you're upset that your husband's, this Bonnie used to get annoyed by me and get upset with me that I would leave my t-shirts. Every day I wear a new t-shirt under my clothes. And I would just go to my drawer, take off a t-shirt, and I'd pull out another one. Okay, so I just leave these t-shirts on the floor. And I just never saw it. She says, why can't you? She sees everything, right? I don't see. I just see where I'm going next. So she gets so annoyed and upset with me. So some days she wouldn't be annoyed and upset. It was fine. It was no big deal. She'd pick up the t-shirt, put it in the hamper. It's only a little bit away. And other days, she'd be all upset about it. Well, imagine if 10 things happened to her that day that were upsetting to her. Stress was building in a building. It accumulates. It particularly accumulates more in women than men, and we'll get into the biology of that. But all of these accumulations of stresses during the day, What happens then is then something little happens, something that doesn't normally upset her becomes more upsetting. So this is called overreaction, and we have to just be reality. My truth, the simple thing is whenever you're stressed, you're not believing the reality. You're not believing what's true. You're in your illusion. What you're thinking is not right. Don't believe what you're thinking. But how can you stop believing what you believe? That's a really tough thing. See, this is the problem for people. I believe I'm not good enough. I believe my husband doesn't love me. Believe this happened. See, it's your thoughts. You believe your thoughts. And what you have to learn to do is find that way to release yourself from believing your thoughts. Now, one of the ways to, on the psychological level, we're going to look at psychology and biology, mind, body, and emotions. And when you're upset and you're believing a lie, when you're believing something that's not true, like I'm giving that talk, what I'm believing is people, and I faint, I'm believing I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I'm believing that these people aren't going to like what I have to say. I'm believing I don't know what I'm doing. I'm believing I don't deserve their attention. Whatever those things are, even those beliefs, I'm unconscious of them. If I'm feeling depression or anxiety, we're not even aware of what we're thinking or what we're feeling. So if I was to actually go a little deeper and someone was to say, well, when you're feeling anxious or depressed, what are you feeling? And maybe I would feel I'm a loser. I'm not good enough. I'm not loved. I can't achieve my goals. I'm over the hill. That would be various beliefs that we have at that time. A story I'm telling myself. Okay. So that's the story I'm telling myself. Now, still, I'm believing it because it seems so real. Let's say I just did some big failure, or I did something wrong, or my partner did something wrong, or my partner leaves me. And so that now you know what the beliefs are that you're holding on to. But if a belief is causing you to feel pain and suffering, if a belief is causing you to feel pain and suffering, then your brain will change the belief. It will correct it. It will correct it. Now, it's an automatic process, but you have to gain the consciousness, your consciousness, which knows that which is true. That's what meditation does. Okay, this is you're growing in the ability through meditation is coming back to a quiet mind, because the quiet mind, the space between your thoughts, the next thought emerges. When a thought goes, another thought comes. There's a space inside, and that space inside is the source of that thought. So when you meditate, you practice just being so many different kinds. You can start just noticing your breath. I'm breathing in, and then I'm noticing that I'm breathing in. And what's noticing that I'm breathing in, or the space between breaths. There's so many different techniques. One good that I taught for many, many years was transcendental meditation. That's how I first got introduced to it. And it practicing that technique to a great extent gave me a level of enlightenment, which was wonderful. But that did not take away my anxiety. As long as I was not in front of an audience and I wasn't in danger, perceived danger, I'm in front of an audience, I might make a mistake. They won't like me. I won't be loved. I'll be a failure. See, these are all the beliefs that are hidden behind anxiety. So even though I had the meditation where I could always go in meditation and feel like fantastic, but put me in front of an audience and now I had all this anxiety. So the great thing about meditation is that I now could have used my awareness to analyze, from more of this enlightenment, knowing my source, my sense of my soul, the source. Some people call it something like your spirit, whatever. You have this source of your thoughts. So once I know I've experienced on a daily basis that, and you begin meditating, you'll grow in that ability. Some practice to just be silent, to be quiet, to be aware, to be conscious, to be mindful. People call about all that. That's good, but that does not take away anxiety. That does not. What takes away the anxiety is to feel, okay, I have this awareness, increased awareness. What are the beliefs behind my upset? What am I telling myself? I can remember that one of the first interviews I did when I was 19 years old and I started teaching. No, this is when I was 28 years old. And had left meditation, and now I'm going to start talking about relationships because I was getting into relationships and I was learning lessons and I was teaching a class on healing the heart. how to find forgiveness and love, because that's a big lesson to learn. Someone shared with me the other day that she has infinite forgiveness. And on one level, the forgiveness she's thinking is that if my partner changed, I would love them. But real forgiveness, if you want to know infinite forgiveness, is there's nothing to forgive, and there never is anything to forgive. Because when you actually forgive, the full depth of forgiveness is understanding where somebody was coming from and relating to it in a way that says, if I was in your situation, I would feel that way as well. That's the real forgiveness. And it takes time to be able to have real infinite forgiveness where there's nothing to forgive, because I understand where you're coming from. And someone hurts my feelings, if I can understand what they're going through to produce that, whatever they said or did, then I understand why they did it. And so I can forgive them. So understanding is so important for forgiveness, why people do things. And you can never know why people do things until you know why you do things, why you get upset, and why you're foolish to be upset, and why I'm foolish to be upset. But that's human. That's our whole journey, is learning you're never upset for the reason you think. And so there's a lot of different reasons for that. So one is, I was giving this interview, and I was 28 years old, and I left being a monk, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I just followed my heart, and clearly, ironically, paradoxically, humorously, here I was a celibate monk, only wanting to have God. And then when I came out in the world, I said, well, now that I've given up all my life, I gave up money, gave up sex, gave up ego or any of that stuff. Now I'm going to go back and revisit all that from this higher consciousness. And in that higher consciousness, I found my path. In the East, they call that your dharma. You find what you're here for, your purpose in a sense. And for me, always the purpose is some level of personal growth and sharing my discoveries. So here I was now deciding I'm going to be with women, have sex and all that. And what I learned is that sex without intimacy would drain my consciousness. It would just disappear. It's like I have this comfort of this unbounded awareness all the time, the ease and comfort, but I could still have anxiety. See, and if I had sex without love, it would drain that and cause more anxiety. But still had the anxiety. And I remember, again, beginning to learn about the psychology of discovering what you're thinking that's causing your anxiety. And I was going to this first interview to talk about these little workshops I was teaching. At that time, I was learning how the purpose of sex, if you're a conscious person, is not for pleasure. The purpose of sex is to make love, is to share and express love. Share and express love. Most books on sex are all about how to increase bigger orgasm, how to have an orgasm, how to increase your pleasure. And there is a technology in sex without a doubt, but we have to always remember technology. What is your goal? What is your purpose? What's the outcome you want? And if you're not in tune with that outcome, you're disconnected from your spirit and your soul. And so you get lost in yourself. If you're just, it's like I can take a better drug. I can take a better dessert. It's all just sensory pleasure. And that's one level of life, and that's there. But the higher level of life, beyond sensory pleasure, is love. And love is a feeling. And what gets in the way of feeling love... Okay, thanks, Phoenix. Hi, sir. My brother and I are a big fan. Back in the COVID, my brother created a music for you. Well, thank you. Send it to me. You can go to marsvenus.com and go to share, contact us, and send it to me. That would be quite wonderful. I appreciate that, Phoenix. Now, see if I read these things, what was my point? What was I talking about? That's why I tell stories. It's easier to come back to them. So I know I was going to do this interview, and I had all this anxiety. So then I did one of the processes that I taught in my workshop at the time, which was, what are you telling yourself whenever you're upset? Okay, it was just simply, you have to look for it. Okay, so what am I telling? I'm just feeling anxious. I'm going to the interview. I'm feeling nervous. And I said to myself, okay, so what am I telling myself? And I'm telling if you have anxiety, it's like you've got you can call him a devil. You can call him a negative influence, a bad spirit. You can say the trauma of your past, whatever. You could say the remedy of your parents' rejection of you, whatever it might be. Or it could be your negative self. Okay, so we have a positive self, a negative self. What am I telling myself right now? And so what I was telling myself was, you're not good enough. You don't have enough experience. He won't like you. What you say will not be significant to anybody. Nobody will care about what you have to say. You will be a failure. Nobody will come to your class. Nobody will want to hear from you. You have nothing important to say. Now, that's all I had to do. And sometimes it's very, very simple. Now, sometimes it's not, if it's a deeper issue, but this was just a lack of experience issue. And so I just had to deal with my first negative thoughts. They weren't necessarily from my childhood or whatever. That comes later. But then you got this, just what am I thinking? What am I telling myself? And so there I am, just sort of saying, I'm telling myself this, I'm saying this, I'm saying this, I'm saying this, I'm saying this. And that's all I had to do. And the anxiety went away. As I finished it, this is what made it go away. I focused on what I was saying to myself, the negative. And then I just focused on, so what am I grateful for? So it was amazing. Well, I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this interview. I'm grateful I have something important to say. I'm grateful to my friends who like what I have to say. I'm grateful that people are signed up for my class. I'm grateful for being healthy and alive. All I had to do was to begin feeling my gratitude, and the anxiety went away. Sometimes it's that easy. You have to identify what you're saying to yourself. Sometimes what you're saying to yourself, though, is much deeper and you can't easily find it. And we'll get to that. So let's look at what Ava has to say. Can you please explain again why you hurt me is a wrong thing to say to your partner? Such a great insight. Well, you're right in tune here, Ava. That again, we first have to start with the basics. The basics are, yes, you get your feelings hurt. There's nothing wrong with that. We are sensitive. Some of us are more sensitive than others. We get our feelings hurt. First of all, to understand that the belief system that goes with feeling hurt, you could feel betrayed by something. You could feel, but why does someone betraying you have to make you feel hurt? The belief system that goes directly with feeling hurt is feeling left out, feeling excluded, not being loved, not being part of the group. And so what you do to heal that is to be part of the group, okay? Or you give yourself the love that you need at that time. But to go to the person, and let's say it's your husband, and you say to them, when you didn't do this, and you gave me that, you didn't want to hug me, or you were upset with me, that really hurt. And so your thought is, oh, my partner's going to go, oh, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Just like if my little granddaughter was bumped her toe and started to cry, or got hurt on her knee, or she didn't get what she wanted and she started to cry, and we cry when we feel hurt. And I'm so sorry, sweetie. I'm so there for you. I'm right there for you. Yes, that would be your natural response. But that's not going to be your husband's response because you're not a baby. You see, you have to be, as a grown-up, responsible for what your feelings are. And if you blame your feelings on your partner, then you're being a child and you're trying to have an adult relationship. Now, if you were to share with your partner that, I went to work and everybody left out, I felt so hurt, I felt so abandoned, I felt so rejected, and I feel so hurt, he will feel total compassion for you, because you're not blaming him for your hurt. The worst thing you can ever say to your partner is, you have hurt me. If you say to your partner, you have hurt me, it's the most blaming thing you can say. It's the most blaming thing you can do. And how would you react if somebody says, you are a failure, you didn't do what you're supposed to do, you betrayed me, you cheated me, you tricked me, you did bad? That's called blame, right? You should have been here and you weren't here. Your fault. It's your fault. I'm suffering. Well, how are you going to react? Or what if he was to say to you, when you feel hurt? Well, you shouldn't feel hurt. It's wrong for you to feel hurt. He's blaming you, right? Is that what you want? Do you want somebody to blame you when you're feeling hurt? Absolutely not. It will hurt more, right? Well, when you say to him, you feel hurt, you're blaming him. Don't you get it? It's the worst communication skill there is, and it's all taught in psychology, is that if you're not getting what you want, this is a very important point. If you're not getting what you want, you have to justify your worthiness to receive what you want. The reason why you should give me what I want, you have to give a reason for this. Like in business, I gave you this product, now you should pay me, okay? The reason You should pay me. It's because I sold this product to you. You're supposed to pay me this money. You should do that. So when you say, I feel hurt, you're using, I feel hurt. I'm a negative emotion to justify my wanting you to change. See, that's what a complaint is. When you do this, I feel hurt. Therefore, what I want is this other thing. That's what's taught in all psychology. We're all brainwashed, which is completely brainwashed to justify our needs, our requests, to justify and to motivate other people to give us what we want. Justify your request by saying how hurt you are, by saying how unhappy you are, by saying how dissatisfied you are, by saying how unhappy I am, and therefore you should give me what I want. Now, if I go to a car dealer and say, you're supposed to do this, I'm not happy about that at all, fine. They're not connected to you emotionally. They don't care what you feel. So they're not going to act defensively. They care about you being a good customer coming back, but it doesn't touch them emotionally. Your husband, your partner, your children, whatever, these people are connected to you. You're blaming them in the most horrible way possible. The last thing a man wants to do if he loves you is to hurt you. It's the last thing he wants to do. What does he want to do? He wants to be your hero. That's what he wants. Now, I'm not saying he's your hero all the time, because as soon as you act in front of him like he's hurt you, you've hurt me, you can say it or not even say it, just to feel it and look at him with those eyes like you hurt me. And women, let's just turn it around, because a woman asking questions. If I look at my wife like, you've hurt me. Okay, her reaction, oh, I'd be so sorry, but she'll never want to have sex with me. See, it's a different reality. She will feel, oh, I feel so sorry. You hurt me. She'll feel like I'm a child, and she'll mother me like a child. But for a man to respond to his wife that way, men are different from women. I'm devoted to my life to my wife. I'll do the dirty, dangerous, difficult jobs and suck it up and not whine and complain for her. Women aren't that way. And if they are, they're too far on their male side and they're shut down and they have no love. Women are sensitive. They're vulnerable. They get their feelings hurt. I get it. I'm not saying you shouldn't get your feelings hurt. You should just realize you're feeling hurt, not for the reason you think. You think he's hurt you. He hasn't hurt you. He's triggered you. He disappointed you. Something's disappointing you. And even that, say you're such a disappointment to me. Imagine your husband, after making love to you, says, I'm just so disappointed. You never enjoy sex. Or you don't want to have sex. I just, in this marriage, I'm so disappointed. I'm so unhappy because you never want to have sex. What's that going to do to you? All it is blame. Is there any good in that? Is there any benefit in that? It's because we're all trained to think that you should justify asking for help, justify wanting something from your partner to get what you want. You're going to justify it by saying, I feel so hurt. I feel so... Or, I can't talk to you because I feel so scared. You're going to hurt me. That's even worse. What do men want? They want to be your hero. And if you don't have messages that acknowledge that he's your hero, don't speak to him. What's he going to do? He's just going to shut down. Brain function, he can't even open up. And this is a different thing from a woman. When a man feels blamed, when he's targeted, his brain neurons close up. He cannot feel what you feel. He cannot feel any compassion for you. He cannot feel any empathy for you. Don't think he's some narcissist because of that. He's wired to do that. I go into the jungle. I go into battle. I can't feel what that other person feels, or I can't kill them. That's what men have to do. In danger, men cannot feel what other people feel if they feel blamed. See, if there's danger and I feel blamed, I will shut down. There's no way a man can feel his love and his compassion for you, his empathy, his motivation, if you blame him. Now, blame is enough. Honey, you didn't pick up the clothes at the cleaners. Next time, would you try to remember? Boom. Instead, what you're taught to do is, honey, you forgot to pick up the clothes at the cleaners. I'm so disappointed and I'm so stressed, and now I feel hurt that you didn't even think of me. If you love me, you'd realize what I'm going through, and then you would do that. You would think of me. He can't even think of you if you're feeling hurt by him. If you're testing him, you're saying, then you're coming from fear that does he love me? Does he not love me? And yes, you do need reassurance. I mean, I'm not discounting your needs and wishes. It's looking at how to deal with it, how to process it, how to handle it, how to get what you want in life. Because the more you are a victim, the more you use "I'm a victim" to justify getting more. I have suffered more than you. I see women sometimes complaining to each other. One says, "Oh, I had to go through this." Yes, I did even more. They go into, who's going to win the battle, who suffers the most. And foolishly, men will do that, okay? There's no doubt about it. Men will do it too. If you suffered, men have this strategy, and we do it all the time. And to us, it's a logical strategy too. It's a very interesting point here. A woman says, "I'm so happy, you haven't spent time with me, you haven't done this, you haven't loved me, you said this and this and this. You were so negative the other day." Okay. You say that to a man, first of all, he feels no compassion. He'll go right into battle zone because you're blaming him. And he'll do this thing, which is purely logical. He says, "I can understand you're upset, but the other day you didn't do this, and 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 I'm more upset than you, and I'm willing to let it go. And look at you holding on to your upset." This is what we do. You have an upset, we will go right back to ours. She says, you didn't clean the car the other day. And I said, "Yeah, but you said you're going to do the laundry the other day. You didn't do it." This is this tit for tat thing. And men do it, women do it. It's a mistake. It's a huge mistake. From him, he's doing it from the logic, which is faulty logic, men. It's faulty logic, which is, if she was a man, it would be good logic. But she's not a man. She's a woman. So the way logic is, and I'll give a funny example as kind of extreme example. It was in one of those mafia movies. And these are these guys negotiating, no emotion. They're just in their logic. There's no compassion or empathy. It's logic. Logic rules the day when there's no emotion. Which, by the way, when you have logic and you have when you have logic and you have emotion, you will have positive emotion and you'll connect to your soul. So I'm talking about mafia. They have logic and no emotion. Okay, so they're disconnected from their emotion and they're using logic. If you have negative emotion, you're always illogical. Negative emotion is all illogical. That's what we're looking at here. You're never upset for the reason you think. If you're upset, you're not being logical. And if you're misbehaving and you're behaving in a way that ruins relationships, you're just being logical with no heartfelt emotion. Okay, so, and that's psychopaths, sociopaths. These are these criminals in the mafia movies. They're psychopaths. They're sociopaths. They have no emotion. You could actually measure in their body. They have no estrogen. They have no female side. They're all just pure logic. And the other thing, just as a side note, when you have just logic and no emotion, you can't get an erection. So the only way you can get an erection is by hurting people. This is like psychopaths, psycho killer. Now, the flip side of this is you can have not an erection if you're a man, if you just have too much estrogen and no testosterone. But if you have no estrogen and you've disconnected from your female side, your testosterone levels will be very high. And you have no conscience. It's through our estrogen that we're able to connect with our soul and our conscience if we also have enough objectivity, which is consciousness, which is our masculine side. So we want to balance our masculine and feminine side. And whenever we're upset, the reason we think we're upset is wrong, just to know that. Because if you found the real reason you're upset, it would go away. Kelly's thanking me. You're so amazing. What you're saying really works. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So look at when I'm feeling hurt. When you're feeling hurt, it's always because you didn't get what you wanted. You're feeling rejected. You're not feeling loved. You're feeling left out. I'm feeling not included. That's a big one. I'm not feeling included. I want a relationship. I want harmony. I want togetherness. So I'm feeling hurt. And it can be also, I feel deprived, I'm not getting what I need. But because I'm not getting what I need, I feel left out. It's always feeling disconnected. There's interesting, this word hurt and what it goes when in Eastern philosophy, they say the cause of all suffering is ignorance. It's just ignorance. You just don't know what you're upset about. And you think I'm feeling unhurt because I've been rejected. No, that's not the reason you're feeling hurt. That's what happened to help you get in touch with the reason you're feeling hurt. And the reason you're feeling hurt, the actual reason, is that you feel you don't deserve to be loved. That's what it goes down to some core belief. Because if somebody rejects you and you know you deserve to be loved, it doesn't affect you at all. You say, oh, what did I do? What did I say? Tell me what's going on. But we all have this issue. Okay, and whenever you're upset, you can't always go back to a feeling of I'm not good enough and I don't deserve unworthiness. But we don't want to admit that to ourselves. Now Lisa has said, "Oh, no wonder the elites are so unhappy. No erections." No doubt. There's no doubt about that. They have to do something immoral, dangerous in order to get an erection. And that's why you have the darkness that they're all doing. Whenever you go against God, when you go against God, it will produce this high testosterone and it's dangerous. And so there'll be fear associated with it. And that intense fear will cause some estrogen. So they get an erection when they hurt somebody. So, see, I get an erection when I feel I can help somebody. My wife, just this morning, it was so sweet. She was having an upset, and I took out the Heart Space app, the Mars Venus Heart Space app. I listened to her for about 10 minutes talking about what she was upset about. And I can do it perfectly because she never blamed me. Okay, she wasn't blaming me. Second is that I knew I could help her. That's another thing that upsets men. And the way I was going to help her is I'm gradually teaching how to do it for herself is I took out the Mars Venus app and I said, now, I've heard you. Now we're going to look at the app, and it has 5 questions to start with. And it did take about 10 minutes to get through those 5 questions. If you want to shorten those 5 questions, just give shorter answers. Go through it quickly. But I answered the 5 questions the way she could have answered them. So basically, she was getting to feel I heard everything she said while I was putting it into the little app. And then it wrote this amazing feeling letter, and she cried. And then it had the response letter. And because she was sharing these feelings with me about what was bothering her, it wasn't me she was upset with. She's sharing her feelings to me about what's bothering her. And because it wasn't to me, then I could be no defenses, no defense reaction. And then wrote out her feeling letter. She read it out loud. And then I wrote the response. And when I'm writing the response, tears came to my eyes, tears came to her eyes, and then we made love. It was fantastic. Who would have thought? It reminds me of a story of one of my friends. His wife said to me, because I'm this relationship expert, and she says, "John, do you think it's weird because sometimes I'm crying and my husband's holding me, and I notice he gets an erection, but I'm crying?" I say, "Absolutely, absolutely. It's perfectly normal. That means you're sharing your feelings. When you're crying, you're totally vulnerable. Particularly if you're crying without blame, you're totally vulnerable. If you're crying and blaming him, his walls are going to go up. Anytime you blame somebody, their defenses come up. And for men, their defenses are disconnection from emotion. Okay, this has been proved that when men experience adrenaline, the mirror neurons that allow us to feel what other people feel, they just shut down. This is every man, every man. Now, there's a place where, someone asked me, well, what if your wife was really hurt by something you did? And would you just disconnect? And I said, well, I wouldn't, okay? Because what happens for me is that we have such a big love bank, okay? Every time you feel loved and supported by your partner, your love bank is filling up and filling up and filling up. So as far as the love that I feel from my wife, I'm like a billionaire, okay? And her blaming me for something, feeling hurt, she goes, I feel hurt, you did this. What goes on inside of me is like, all right, well, tell me about that. Tell me about that. And I have no adrenaline because I know she loves me so much. I trust that love so much. I know she's going to come back to that love. So not only do I know I'm loved, so that's my bank account with her is so big. I feel so loved and supported. So so what if today she doesn't love me? I know tomorrow she will. and because in the past she did so much. It's like somebody does a lot of good stuff for you and then they don't do something good. It's no big deal. But if somebody's not doing enough stuff for you and then they continue, then you get really hurt and upset with them. So once again, when you say I feel hurt to your partner, what does that mean? You've done nothing for me lately. You never do anything. Imagine, your partner says to you, you ignore me all the time. You're never there for me. Could you at least give me a hug? It's such a insult. It's an insult. And it can be that place or it could just be, honey, I don't ask for anything, but could you at least go to the store and get this? No, can you at least do this? It's just such an insult to somebody, as opposed to just saying, hey, would you go to the store and pick this up? Then if he says, no, I'm too busy, then you give a reason. You say, it would just be so helpful to me. Not, I'm so unhappy, I'm so stressed and out of my mind. It would just be so helpful. And then if he said, it goes further, well, why do you need that help? Then you could say, I have 10 things I have to do. Do you want to hear what they all are? And he'll say, no, I'll just do it. We do everything wrong in relationships. We get so upset. We make our partner the reason we're upset. Our partner is not the reason we're upset. It's the reason we're upset always on one level is that we're not loving ourselves. We're not doing what we need to do for ourselves. And yes, we have huge disasters and tragedies going on in our life. We have all these reasons to be upset. Well, the reason you come back to, what is the reason you're upset? You feel you're in danger. Okay, what's causing, these are problems out there. I mean, that's not the reason you're upset. That's what's triggering you to be upset. These problems are going to be problems. And you have the ability. See, this is what people don't know. All the problems in the world around you, you can't do it. I can't do this. I don't have this. No one helps me. He doesn't care. He doesn't do that. All these problems exist. And you don't have to be stressed. The stress is because you're saying all of that is making me feel unsafe. I'm not safe because of all that, but I'm sitting in my room and there's no danger around me. So all I have to do is look at what are the emotions that I'm generating inside me from all this big story I'm telling. So if I can look at what are the emotions that I'm feeling in my subconscious mind right now, where I'm sitting in a room and nobody's got to take a gun to my head. I'm right here in this moment. And what will put you in this moment? Maybe you're going, yeah, but tomorrow they're going to come and take away the house. That's tomorrow. To be in this moment, there's nothing more grounding, more, mindfulness. There's 10 times more than mindfulness or meditation, any of that stuff, is to be aware in the moment right now, I'm in pain. And what is that pain? Pain puts you in the moment. There's nothing that will put you in the moment more than pain. And what we have to understand, a new insight, is that every negative emotion is pain. See, that's the indicator to your brain that I'm in pain because my thinking is wrong. My thinking is wrong. My thinking is that I'm not safe in this moment. That's it. If your brain detects that you're not safe in this moment, it will generate negative emotions in response to all these bad things that are happening around you. All you have to do is sit quietly, or you can use the app. It will help you learn to do it. Once you learn to do it, it's better if you do it yourself, but it teaches you how to do it. So when you use the app, it's going to tell you all the feelings you have inside. And maybe one or two of those things is what really touches. There's like a burning coal, a painful thought. But you'll go through all of the different emotions, and one will be most painful. That feeling, that moment of, oh, that's it. That's the pain. And you'll feel it. And then your brain will let it go. And then you focus then on the positive feelings. And the process will do that. It gives you 2 pages of your emotions and feelings. And then it brings you back to the positive feelings. And then it gives you, since she wrote, she answered the questions, it wrote the letter, and it was her sharing with me. And then I could read the response to her. And I don't recommend husbands reading the response to their wives if the letter implies blame to the husband. But if it's not about the husband, and that's what you have to learn to do, is that you do have these negative emotions inside. It is valuable to share this with your partner. It's very valuable to do. But there's so many other reasons to be upset. And I'm so lucky to have a wife who has other reasons to be upset other than me. So this is the great thing. This is all in this book, Beyond Mars. And it's in the book Beyond Mars and Venus. That's one men and women can read together. This is one that women can read together too. It's for women only. And so basically it's learning that what are the reasons I'm upset? And once I'm aware of the reasons that I'm triggered inside, what are the emotions that this story I'm telling myself, what emotions is it causing inside of me? And then now you have the awareness of how to process emotions. You recognize that whenever you're upset, there's always some reason to be angry. There's always some reason to be disappointed and sad. So you got the angry frustration. That's the red color. Then you got the blue color, disappointment and sad. Then you've got the just for fun, the yellow color. You know, they say when people are scared, you yellow. Okay, so the yellow color, which is I'm afraid, I'm worried, I'm concerned. So those three emotions are primary. And then the last one is I feel bad, I feel sorry, I feel regret, I feel ashamed, I feel I'm not good enough, all that stuff. Go to the depths of your darkness, because it is painful to acknowledge and be aware that one part of me thinks I'm not good enough. One part of me thinks I don't deserve to be loved. I'm bad, I'm no good. So you have to feel all that, and then you'll feel better. That's the whole thing. People don't realize you have to bring the consciousness, because if you're feeling stressed, all those feelings are in your subconscious. Those are the basic primary colors. If you get those three colors, and black and white, white's the love, black's the guilt and shame, and then those other three colors, you can create infinite colors. All your feelings, all your emotions, everything comes down to those primary colors, those primary emotions. Frustration, anger, sadness, disappointment, can be hurt there too. Scared, afraid, and then feeling regret, feeling embarrassed, feeling guilt, feeling shame. That's the darkness. You let yourself feel a little bit of each of those. And then what is it that I want? And what am I grateful for? What am I proud of? What am I happy about? What do I love? And you feel better. That's called processing emotions. You have that power. No matter what's going on in your life, you can process emotions. Nothing changes out there. You change. Now we go to another truth. When you change, everything changes in your life. Everything has the room to change. As long as you hold that this world is making me suffer, the world will stay the same. The outer world can change a little bit. But when it's in a marriage where you're having sex with somebody on a regular basis, when you change, your partner changes. You create the space for them to change. Powerful, powerful. When you go, I want my partner to change, you change. Stop making them responsible for how you feel, and you come back to feeling good, to feel happy, to be fulfilled, feel for real forgiveness. In spite of all of this that you've done to me or haven't done to me, whatever, there's nothing to forgive. I get it. Now I understand why you behave that way when you're with me. One could be because I feel hurt and I don't trust you. That's going to bring out the worst in you. Or it could be, I'm not eating the right food. So let's shift gears now. Is it food? How much time do I have to talk about this? Somebody asked me in the very beginning, what supplements do I recommend? Because I used to have a health food store online and a wellness store, and I sold supplements, and it was big business until FDA told me, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. And so I don't want to mess with them. So I stopped on so many things. But I do continue to promote one thing, which is at my website, which is the lithium orotate, which is a wonderful product. You can go online and find out how that will keep your brain growing, and why there's, it has a whole bunch of things in there to help lower your stress. They're well-known, what's called adaptogens, but the most significant is the lithium orotate, along with the other adaptogens that are in there. And I've done other shows talking about that. But it will bring calm back into your life, along with focus, along with ease and comfort. That's the number one I recommend. The other thing I recommend is pre-digested protein. Now, you can't buy pre-digested protein. You have to make it. You eat protein and you digest it. But if you're stressed, if you're upset, you can't digest your protein. If you can't digest, even if you're not upset, you're only getting like 20%, 30% of the benefit of protein. Okay, this is called the amino acids. These amino acids are in protein. You digest it, your body now has these amino acids. From those amino acids, it can make the peptides that will make dopamine in your brain that give you motivation and energy and optimism. It will make serotonin in your brain. The tryptophan makes the serotonin in your brain to keep you calm while you're also focused and motivated. You've got to have both dopamine and serotonin, and you need to have certain amino acids that come from protein. You don't get it anywhere else. You got to get protein, but you got to digest the protein. And if you're stressed, guess what? You're going to stay stressed because you can't get the nutrients, the building blocks that your brain needs to let go of suffering. You've got to do with the brain. You need to get the opportunity to look inside, process your feelings, but it doesn't fully work unless you give your brain the fuel. So brain fuel. So you got to get brain fuel. And what brain fuel is pre-digested proteins. Now, what you do is you need to learn how to do this. You get a protein powder, a special protein powder. Now, it's a dairy and casein are the best. Whey protein, casein protein, very important. Casein for the dopamine, whey protein for the serotonin. You have to have the right balance. It has to be 50-50. If you have normal milk, it's 90-10, and therefore you can't digest it. And if you heat it up at hot process, if you heat it up to a high level, it kills it. You don't get the benefit. And that's all of your pasteurized milks. It has to be raw. Well, it's not, you can't legally make the powder raw, so they do is low heat, so it still retains its potential. So therefore, it gets rid of any possible negative bacteria, but at the same time, it's still alive. It's not dead milk that will last a long time. So you've got the powder, and then you add these enzymes, these basic enzymes that will help your stomach digest those proteins. But even still, just putting it together and drinking it, it will help because you'll have the enzymes to help your body digest it. And then once it's digested, it becomes peptides that allows you to make dopamine and serotonin. It has to be grass-fed. Otherwise, it's not natural. It doesn't have all the benefits, and they've proven that. It has to be low heat processed, so it's safe. And it has to be low sugar. Okay, you can't put sugar in it. That's going to interfere with the process with your blood sugar. You want to be able to produce the brain chemistry that will, by the way, also balance your hormones, which is another thing we're going to go to, which is why you're upset for another reason. Your hormones are out of balance. All it takes is for women to be more on their male side, less on their female side, more male hormones, less female hormones. Your body will produce cortisol, and there's nothing wrong in your life. You'll just think there is. Your brain will think there is, because your hormones of high testosterone, low estrogen says to the brain, just because the hormonal balance is off, says to your brain, you're in danger. A tiger's chasing you. And there's no tiger in your life. A bunch of made up stories that tell you have to be upset about everything. And for a man, his testosterone goes down because he doesn't feel good enough, or he's inadequate, or whatever. He can't solve a problem. His wife's unhappy. Any of those things lower your testosterone. And your estrogen will go up. You have all these emotions, and you'll be like a woman saying, I feel hurt when you do this. I feel so disappointed. I feel so angry. All those negative emotions in men is just being emotional without logic. It's estrogen without testosterone. You want all that to happen? You need to have the proteins. It takes the proteins to produce the brain chemistry. So what's the solution for this? There's no easy solution until you understand the problem. And the problem is people aren't digesting their proteins that have the amino acids necessary to make your brain chemistry. So this is called brain fuel for your brain. I saw a video of you saying coconut oil cures Alzheimer's. I've been telling people that for years. These charities are so corrupt. They know the cure but never tell the customers. Yeah, coconut oil is really good, and you could also put that in your shake, by the way. It will also help. The reason I talk about lithium orotate, it just goes straight into the brain, helps balance dopamine and serotonin, and now Harvard University is using it as a treatment for Alzheimer's. Coconut oil also has been a treatment. You just have to use a lot as a treatment, but this is like a great new breakthrough. And then suddenly it got a lot of popularity and disappeared. You know why it disappeared? Because the drug companies don't want you to know. They want expensive treatments. Lithium orotate is cheap. Lithium orotate isn't enough. That allows you to balance the brain chemistry, but you need to get the adaptogens that help lower stress so your brain works better to digest your food, but you need the proteins to make the dopamine and serotonin. So if you want brain fuel, you text Ellen, there's the number, it's on the screen, and if you call that number, you'll get a discount. And this is what I'm doing. I want you to get benefit. I believe in this product so much that you will notice results within 2 weeks. It's a 1-month program. Within 2 weeks, you will notice dramatic results. And if you do not notice results in 2 weeks, don't send it back to me. Don't use it. Throw it away. I'll give you a full refund. Full refund. What you paid for a 3-week supply, for a month's supply. You buy 3 canisters of the protein powder, which has already the enzymes in it. Then what you do, it's a little tedious, but you want the full result right away. This is what you do. You take the powder, which has the enzymes, the special balance, all that's done for you. Then you put it in water, warm water at 101 degrees, 102 degrees, 105 degrees, that's all fine. But a little above 101 or 101. So you heat up the water, you put the powder in, you let it sit for 45 minutes for maximum results. 30 minutes, you're still going to get good results, maximum results. At least do in the beginning, maximum. When you get, it will bubble, it will cook, it will digest itself for you. You're getting pre-digested protein. And one researcher in Switzerland said they measured, and you can measure by your breath, how much of the protein is being utilized by your body and brain. It's because, for meat or, good proteins, you'll get maybe 20 to 30% of it, and the rest of it, it puts out a gas, which is toxic gas that your body has to get rid of. And what they found that with this product, with these enzymes, that there's 92% absorption and only a little bit of the gas, the toxic byproduct. Because anytime you eat anything, there's toxic byproducts. So this is toxic free in a sense. Your brain is utilizing 3 times more of the protein. You don't even need to take as much protein. It's as if your body's getting more as the building blocks, not only your body, but also your brain. And when you have that fuel, along with the right adaptogens, along with the lithium orotate and other minerals that are necessary, but lithium's the one that's most important to promote. Why? Because the drug company for 30 years, 40 years has said, oh, it's bad for you, it's not good for you, it's dangerous for you, and that's nonsense. If you would do what they recommended before antidepressants, they had lithium carbonate, which did make people not be depressed. It's just that to make it work, it was an inferior form of lithium. The bonding to it was carbonate. You had to give too much. You have to give toxic doses, so there were side effects. With lithium orotate, no side effects. Small doses. It's like microdosing. And microdosing doesn't mean, oh, it's a bad thing you can't do a little of. It's like salt. Salt's fantastic for you, but you don't take a huge amount. Lithium is a salt. It's not the lithium carbonate, but lithium orotate. And that's the one they did the research on. So that's the lithium orotate. You can get that at my website. If you want the brain fuel, if you want to try this out, pre-digested, and you're willing to put it, let it sit for 45 minutes. You can do it overnight, by the way. You could do it at night, put it in the refrigerator, and then in the morning, you could drink it. After you've let it sit for 45 minutes in the warm water, you can then put ice in it and blend it up, make it like a milkshake. You can put a banana in it. You can put dates in it if you want extra sweetness. If you're diabetic, I don't recommend putting extra sweetness in it. For most people, you can. It's like a delicious milkshake. It's fantastic. And yet it works. Your brain will wake up, give you 2 weeks. And for me, because I've been doing it for 25 years, every day, if I travel, I don't bring it with me. I just eat normal stuff. But when I come back and I do it, it's like my brain explodes. It just goes clarity, it's just openness. It just feels so good to have pre-digested protein in your body. And we all need that. So if we're stressed, why we need it more today? Because we're stressed. So one of the reasons, once you have the lack of dopamine and serotonin in the brain, your body produces stress hormones. Your hormones go out of balance. So one of the reasons we're upset is that we're not getting protein. Another one is we're eating sugar. Now, this is another thing. Finally, I learned, again, before I learned all this other stuff on how to process my feelings and go into my deep past, okay? Once I went to my deep past, that's therapy, I realized that all of my anxiety in my life was primarily due to a time when I was 6 years old and I felt I was abandoned. I couldn't find my family. I was lost for a week. And I thought I'd never see my family again. And that was all buried. I forgot all about it. But doing therapy, I remembered it all. It came up. Now my mind could consciously process it and just say to my little vulnerable self that's still alive in there, still feeling inadequate, not good enough, can't find my way home. That was always my feeling. Can't find my way home. Can't get home. It's such a deep feeling for all of us because we're all trying to get home to heaven. It was in the movie E.T. Everybody cried when E.T. said, phone home, phone home. For me, particularly touching. And ironically, that was that whole experience of phone home was a big issue for me, is not being able to get home. I was praying for 2 years when I was teaching Men Are From Mars. I wasn't teaching it with the name Men Are From Mars. I was just saying, men and women are different. Men, women in relationships. But it was boring, and people, it was too serious for people. And I kept saying, how can I give a different angle, a hook that would lighten the subject up? And I was just giving a talk, and I was telling an audience, think about E.T. phoning home. It's such a tearjerker, great movie. Well, look in that movie when the kids were giving him the little chocolates, and they didn't want the mother to find out, because for ET, that was the only food he could benefit from. He needed super fuel for him. Otherwise, he was dying. And yet the mom thought that's the wrong thing to do. So the point here is that when somebody's from another planet, they have different needs. Men are from another planet. Just imagine, men are from another planet, women are from another planet. We have different needs. What you think you're helping a relationship could be ruining it, could be bad for it. What you think is bad could be good. You just don't know. So I was in front of an audience and I was making the point, I was going to make that point. And I just said, imagine your husband's from another planet. Well, all the women started laughing. And some woman said, where's my husband from? I said, Mars. Everybody laughed some more. I said, thank you, God. I had goosebumps. You know, my hair was standing on end. I said, this is the answer to my prayer. It took 2 years, but it came. We have to keep asking. And our relation, and what's all religion, every spirituality is about asking for help. Give me guidance, give me support, give me understanding, give me forgiveness. Prayer is the essence of life. Well, in a relationship with your husband, ask for help. Don't complain, and don't justify your complaints with your hurt. And certainly when you're praying to God, you can justify your complaints with hurt. You can feel your sadness and you feel your fears and so forth. All those Psalms do that. But you're not blaming God. That's why it works so well. If you can talk about your feelings without blaming somebody that's close to you, someone significant to you, then they can hear you. And if you're sitting down while you're writing, let's say you are blaming your partner, that's okay. Sit down, blame your partner, just don't give them the letter. And because your intent is not to share this with your partner, your brain will recognize, oh, you have all these upset feelings, but you don't have to do anything about it, then I can let it go. And I can allow you to come back to not being stressed. There's no danger. So you write out your feelings as if you're yelling at your partner. You could do that as well. One, you can share feelings about what's going on in your life, or you can share feelings that you can share with your partner, or you share feelings in your app or in your feeling letter. You share it at your partner, and you don't give it to them. As long as you have the intent, I'm not going to give it to them, your brain's going to go, oh, well, then there's no danger here, and let go of the feeling of danger, and then all negative emotions go away. Then you take a little time to express what you're grateful for, what you're happy about, what you're proud of, and what you love. What I love giving this talk. I love that we can share all this important information in 1 hour. I love you for listening to my show. Thanks for listening to these ideas. Hopefully they'll make your life better. I love you because you share this with other people. You give me your time and attention. It makes me feel you trust me. I'm open to receiving. Boy, do I feel good because I get to give these talks, because I have something meaningful to share. That's what every relationship is about, is how can you contribute to me? How do I contribute to you? And there's the gross level of that, but there's the real level of that, which is why you fall in love, is because you're feeling loved and supported. Your partner cares about you. And what men need most is to feel appreciated for what they can provide, accepted for who they are. They can't provide it all, but what they can provide, you appreciate that, you accept that that's good enough, and you trust that they're doing their best. And you can't trust your partner if you're going to be sharing your hurt with them and make them the cause of your suffering. The real cause of your suffering is you and your inability to process your emotions, your inability to get sugar out of your body. That's another big anxiety producer. Better diet and a little exercise, and your suffering goes away. I want to thank all of you for joining with me today. And remember, there was maybe bring up again how you can find the super fuel for the brain. You can go to marsvenus.com to get the minerals. If you forget Ellen's phone number, which we're just putting up on the screen, you can go to share at marsvenus.com and ask for it, and we'll give you the telephone number for Ellen. Or if you wanted to call you, give your phone number. She'll give you a call. She'll provide free coaching for you to get your optimal brain function. If you want to lose weight, you also lose weight. It's so amazing. And I tell you, if you don't get the benefit in 2 weeks, go for 2 weeks, just take it 2 weeks. But you buy a month's supply, you do it 2 weeks. And if you don't get benefit from it, throw it away. Just throw it away. And if you get it at home and it gives you a stomach ache and you don't like it, throw it away. I'll give you a full refund. I know it's that good. All I hear from people is how their lives have changed because of the lithium orotate, the program there, and just the brain fuel. Just go for the brain fuel. Ellen will help you. She'll guide you through it. If you want to lose weight, there's a few extra things you can also get, which will help you to lose weight. And I won't give you a refund for that. I'll give you the refund for the program just for optimal brain function, because I know that's what's necessary to keep your heart open. Mind, body, and spirit. Thank you all for joining me. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Look forward to your comments that you've written. Looking forward to reading those, and I'll try to address those in our next show. Have a great day.
Thank you for watching Q&A with Dr. Gray. Please share this out with all of your friends and family across all social media platforms. And be sure to tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. PST and 2 p.m. EST.